From the combined newsrooms in Eugene, Roseburg, and Coos Bay, Kval News at 5 starts now.
We're manipulating fuels so that fire, if it does move through the area, isn't as intense and as aggressive, and also provides a safe space for our responding resources.
First at 5, the Oregon Department of Forestry is using $5 million. It's coming from the state to reduce wildfire risk. More than $500,000 is going to Lane County. Good evening, I'm David Walker.
And I'm Jacqueline Fernandez. We have wildfire team coverage tonight. Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart is standing by in the Weather Center, giving us a closer look at our current fire potential.
But first, Kval's Lauren Negretti is here, telling us why fire preparations are beginning now. Lauren?
Jacqueline, the windy, hot, and dry weather increases our fire risk. And because of that, Lane County is starting a burn ban tomorrow through next Wednesday. Now, ODF is focused on getting rid of fuel for fires, and that includes clearing shrubs and clustered trees and sawing off branches. ODF Veneta's Tim Moss says this builds a defensible space around your property.
The main goals of fuel reduction is to create defensible space on your property, which is to protect your structure in the event of a wildfire. You're trying to create a zone around your house or structure where if there was a fire nearby, it can't jump that space.
ODF expects the projects will treat 7,000 acres with miles of fuel mitigation treatments. The new money from the state will also allow the department to buy new equipment and hire more staff. And coming up on Kval News at 6, we'll tell you how you can sign up to have hazard cleared up on your property, plus a look at the tactics to avoid the destruction like what we saw from the Holiday Farm fire. Back to you.
Thank you, Lauren. Kval Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart is with us tonight. He's taking a look at the conditions that are increasing the fire threat for us this week.
That's right, David. And right now, at least our fire potential still remains on the lower end of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're out of the woods just yet for at least the next week or so. And we will continue to see the potential as drought conditions continue to plague much of western Oregon. So the yellow area, that moved back over our coastal communities just last week. Tomorrow, we have an update. Unfortunately, I think a lot of us will be diving deeper into those drought conditions with the lack of rainfall and relative humidity values, one of the perfect ingredients to help start and spread wildfires, as we're in the 20th percentile through the valley locations and the coast with an offshore flow. Gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. That's also playing into the potential to start and spread wildfires very quickly as the dry skies remain for at least the next week with abnormally warm conditions. Of course, have that coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thanks, Josh. As a new wildfire season approaches, Kval News is getting you prepared and asking the experts what to expect. Tonight, we're teaming up with more than 10 other newsrooms across the West for a live 1-hour broadcast. The special event, States of Emergency, Wildfire Threat, begins at 7 right here on Kval. You can also find a live stream on our website at kval.com/wildfires.
Well, the Oregon Health Authority is reporting 816 more cases of coronavirus today. And we did some digging. The last time the agency reported 800 or more cases was February 5th. The OHA also is reporting 3 more deaths.
COVID cases in Oregon continue to rise as the state prepares to ramp up vaccination efforts by opening to all adults over 16 starting Monday. Governor Kate Brown visited a vaccination clinic in Woodburn today, where she was brought up to speed on vaccination efforts, specifically for underserved communities. The governor mentioned in her tour that case numbers at one point during the pandemic were high among Hispanic populations, but she says she's been relieved to see those numbers go down, however, noting there is still a lot of work to be done.
I'm asking Oregonians if they haven't gotten their vaccinations already to make a plan and get their vaccine so we can move past the virus.
The governor calls Salud Medical Center in Woodburn a great example of a clinic serving a community often overlooked. She says 46% of their patients are migrant and seasonal workers.
There are concerns over the Johnson & Johnson vaccine tonight. Concerns that in rare cases, that vaccine could cause blood clots. The White House and COVID response team knows that could make it harder to convince some people to get vaccinated. Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thillman spoke one-on-one with the U.S. Surgeon General.
In an emergency gathering, health officials from the CDC tried to determine what next for the millions of doses of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine that had been slated for use.
How long do you think this pause will last?
Well, I think it'll take several days. The FDA and CDC are going to work very quickly to assess this data because they know that there are a lot of people who want to know, people who may have gotten the vaccine recently.
The Surgeon General telling me skepticism is also a growing hurdle.
Doctor, there was some polling out last month, well before this development, and 30% of adults said that they had no intention of getting vaccinated.
Nearly 80% of people say that they want to talk to their doctor, their healthcare provider, about whether or not to get the vaccine. That means that we've got to make sure that nurses and doctors are equipped with the right information.
But could that fall on deaf ears?
When it comes to mixed messaging, very early on, obviously even Dr. Fauci had a change of opinion regarding masks. You had the president who seemed to downplay them quite a bit. Then he gets vaccinated but didn't publicize it. How much of that early action maybe muddied the waters?
I think it's often the case during these types of pandemic responses that the science is evolving. And part of what we have to do, what we have an obligation to do, is make sure that we are communicating openly with people. And if we change our mind based on new information, then we have to communicate that.
What risk do you see variants posing right now?
I'm so glad you asked. I'm very concerned about variants.
Ranging, he says, from South Africa to Brazil and the UK.
Right now, we are fortunate that the predominant circulating variants of concern in the United States are still responsive to the vaccine. But there may be a time where that's not the case if new variants continue to develop. That's why it's so urgent that we tamp down the spread of this virus by getting vaccinated.
In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
A fifth rural vaccination event was held today in Douglas County. Aviva Health has had events in Drain, Sutherland, Glide, and Myrtle Creek. So far, they've given out about 4,000 first and second doses. For a lot of people in those areas, it's essential for the vaccine to come to them. Because Aviva Health is a federally qualified health center, they can vaccinate anyone 18 and older.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity. I've got family that wants to come visit, and they've all had their vaccinations and they're all immunocompromised. So in order to safely be around them, I need to get my vaccine. And I've got my passport. I'm dying to do some traveling.
Another woman told us it's hard for her to walk, so having the vaccine come to her is very convenient. The suspension of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine won't affect Aviva's vaccination efforts too much. Primarily, they use Pfizer and Moderna.
Today, Eugene City Council heard the results of a survey detailing the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Kval's Olivia Young joins us after looking into these results and tells us more about who gathered the data for the survey. Olivia.
Jacqueline, the survey was done by the ETC Institute. It asked hundreds of Eugene residents questions about the impact of the pandemic on their health and well-being, as well as their financial situation. There were some big takeaways that were concerning but not surprising. 26.9% of Eugene residents surveyed said their financial situation has gotten worse as a result of COVID-19. And 45% of respondents reported emotional distress as a result of the pandemic.
A record scratch moment in this presentation, and that has to do with 45%. Did I hear that right? 45% of our community are potentially suffering a mental health crisis.
Counselors pointed to concerning disparities between white and Latinx respondents, also noted in the survey. The goal of the survey is to identify areas of focus for long-term recovery from the pandemic. The City Council will have a work session next week to discuss priorities for the future. Coming up on Kval News at 6, I took those results to a Peace Health psychiatrist and explained more about what the survey found. Back to you.
Olivia, thank you. The pandemic has put a development project on hold in Coos Bay. The Confederated Tribes of the Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Siuslaw Indians announced the Hollering Place Cultural Center project is now on an indefinite hold. The project has been going on for 5 years. The tribes say financial issues caused by the pandemic are keeping them from moving ahead now. The cultural Hollering Place site is at the corner of Newmark and Empire Boulevard. The project is aimed at building a center for tribal history exhibits and sharing tribal culture.
We just want to make sure and reiterate that we're not saying no, we're never going to do it. It's just that right now, unfortunately, with the way the pandemic has affected our ability to govern, because, it's something that we have to take into consideration, that sometimes tough choices need to be made.
McDade tells us they need about $5 million to move forward with the project. She says they'll meet with the city when those financial issues are resolved.
It's National Telecommunication Week, which honors and thanks 911 dispatchers for the work they do. At Coos Bay Police Department, dispatchers handle calls for several cities, including Coos Bay and Coquille, as well as tribal police agencies and Southwestern Oregon Community College Security. In 2020, 98% of their calls were answered within 10 seconds. The national average is 92%. But what you might not know is they do more than answer phones.
Every medical call we have, we're required to give EMD instructions, which is emergency medical dispatch. It's from basic first aid to CPR instructions over the phone. We've had people here deliver babies over the phone. We've had, successful CPRs that have happened.
Coming up at 6, we learn what a dispatcher handles day to day and what trends they saw in this past year.
Head to head on Kval News at 5. More from the White House COVID response team. They outline the impact of the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
And second-degree manslaughter, that's the charge from prosecutors tonight. More about the police officer who shot and killed Dante Wright.
Plus, there is more unrest in Portland. Police are responding to even more tension pointed at them.